Now we have dubbed this place the petroglyph rock for what I think are obvious reasons here as you look at it. There's quite a few around here, and there's quite a few around on the other side. Somewhere I've done other videos of this that show you some of the other petroglyphs, so I'm not going to do that. But as you can see, there's quite a few of them. Now my theory here, my suspicion, if you look at how these rocks are tumbled down in, there's probably some great chief buried in here. That would be, you know, an honor to him, I would think. Now, I don't know that for a fact, but it's a good theory. Now I want to show you another theory that I've had for years and years. See, we've hunted this country for, well, pretty much everything at one time or another. A lot of quail and javelina, but really deer. I killed an elk not very far from here one year. So we're pretty familiar with it. And we often find ourselves sitting up here on this rock just glassing around. Well, I noticed something years ago. Probably 10 years ago, maybe longer, I don't know. And here's what it is. If you look at the top layers of rock over there, like we'll take that mountain right there, and look at just the top layer stuff. You've got what we call rim rock. If you go along the edge there on the top, it's really volcanic rock, igneous rock. It's lava that's flowed over from San Francisco peaks many years ago. And look how thick it is right there. Man. Well, as you go along, you'll see there are these little rock slides here and there. They're all dark, pretty much the same color, until you get to right there. And when you look at that one, look at that rock slide right there. Notice it has a different color to it. And I'm thinking, what the heck could have caused that? Now, first time I saw it, it kind of almost looked like a mine. But the more I thought about it, the more I thought that really doesn't make any sense. And honestly, of all the years of hunting up here in this country and touring around this country and doing things, I've never seen one that looked like that. It's white. White, and the rock below it is a much lighter color. So I formulated this theory, and the theory is, what if a meteor hit up there and knocked all of that loose? Well, guess what? That would be a pretty cool thing. And not only that, there'd be a bunch of meteorite fragments around that place, which happen to be worth a lot of money. So I'm thinking, what if I just go over there to that, snoop around a little bit with my metal detector and shovel, and see if I can find anything in the way of meteorites over there. So I went up and camped, kind of right in there, I'd say. But when you look at it, you got to go up the hill, which is quite a little truck, and then across the rim rock over to that before you're even over in the right spot. So it's going to be an all-day thing. I'm going to try it. And this is the camp. Now what I plan on doing today is I plan on walking up to the top of that thing right there. Get over here in the shade and get rid of any glare. The thought process being this, that up around the other side of those rim rocks, you got a big canyon here. And I've noticed from way down below there's a rock slide up there that just looks totally out of place. And I am thinking it's possible that what happened was there was a meteor that hit that rim rock up there and knocked all that stuff loose. And the reason I think it's a meteor as opposed to perhaps some other mechanism that might have caused that kind of a thing is you just don't see these hills here, you know, they just don't create that kind of a slide. So for example, if we look right here at this hill, there's a bunch of rocks that have slid down that hill over here. But you know what? They're not white. They're the same color as the basalt. Where we're going, they're a different color. When I first saw it many years ago, I thought, you know what? That looks like a mine. It looks like somebody'd pulled stuff out of the mountainside. And you see these rocks right here, that's like sure, those rocks have busted away from up above, but you notice they're the same color. So, my thought process here is, I think it's worth going up and having a look. You combine that with the fact that Cody told me one time, my nephew Cody told me that he had found a rock, and when he described the rock, what he described to me was a meteorite. Unfortunately, his aunt had stolen it from him. And he described a pretty good sized meteor. And because where we hunt is not that far as the crow flies from here, it just sort of made sense to me that, well, maybe those two events are connected. I don't know. It's purely theory at this moment. But hey, I'm going to have some fun looking for it. There's the camp. I'll spend a couple days up here snooping around. Got a metal detector. We'll see how it goes. So anyway, I just set up this little camp down here. I didn't want to take my truck any further up that rough road. It was actually pretty rough coming up here. This isn't bad, of course, but on down further there are a bunch of rocks and such. This is one of the things, a ladder is one of the things I've taken camping lately, because it always gives you a sort of a portable shelf that you can set up somewhere. You got another place to set things, which is always good. And then the other big thing is it makes it easy to get in and out of the truck. My age, that's getting old. Well, I'm getting ready for breakfast this morning. As you can see, I got the kitchen set up here. Got my meteorite finding tools over there. Tent. Coffee's ready. Got a great view. Hey, life is good. Well, unfortunately, my meteor theory has pretty much gone out the window. You're looking at these rocks here, though. You see the coloration on those rocks from this slide, which broke away from that cliff right there. But if you look real close at that cliff, you'll see there's kind of some whitish type stuff, which I think is probably limestone. And plus the rocks themselves tend to have limestone in them. So what this would suggest is, this is the theory Don had, is the water got in there and somehow froze, and just over a period of time it finally loosened everything up, which would have been pretty easy with limestone, because that would dissolve. But you see what I mean about the problem I had with it is, look at this. These are standard sort of rock slides that you see, and notice they're entirely different color. They're really the same color as the cliff. So that's what drew my suspicion to begin with. and kind of made me formulate this theory that perhaps a meteor had struck over here and really loosened up the rock to a depth that was quite a bit different. But after looking at it, I really don't have any particular reason to believe that anymore. However, rather glorious day. December in Arizona, you can't beat it. It's just wonderful being outside. Got just kind of a gentle breeze, almost unseasonably warm temperatures at the moment. And this is a wonderfully beautiful spot. I'm going to go over there and have a look at that rock right there, though, just to see if I can see you know, what it is actually made of. But guy has to be really careful. This stuff starts sliding on you, and the next thing you know, you end up over the cliff. So I'm being very careful. Anyways, such is life. Another gold mine lost. So as you can see, we get right over here to the face that broke off. And look at this. Right here you have all this kind of whitish rock. Right there's a whole bunch of it. I bet you that's limestone. Over a period of time the water ran down in and dissolved it, and at some point the weight of the rock was just too much. Off it went down the hill. But it's still interesting that all that rock down there is just of so much different color to me. I guess that makes sense. See anything that looks like a meteor down there. I was gonna go down and have a look tomorrow, but I don't think there's any reason to now. It's a brutal climb up to this place, and it would be hard to get there too. So much for that harebrained idea.